want to start off by saying I'm sorry, Karsten. Uh, I'm stealing his idea. Anyway, what I watched in July, I started off with Superman, with the Superman movie. It did I start off with Superman movie? I think I did. I didn't start off with Superman. I started off by watching April Story. Now, this is a movie of a Japanese girl moving out to Tokyo to study in the university. And it's just a simple slice of life movie where you see this home, like country girl almost. Uh, she lives in a small town before going in a big new city, meeting new people, and just living the life. She is living my dream, I'm gonna be honest, because everything about this movie is just so cozy. Even the characters. There's this one character that she meets in her class, and well, technically, the character goes up to her. The character literally adopts her, and it's one of those friendships that you can tell like, oh, the only reason this girl talked to this other girl is to get something out of her. But the things you got out of it is such a sweet thing. It's just a passion for fishing. It is just someone to share your excitement and joy with. And that's such a wonderful thing. And I feel like that could kind of kicks off the movie. That does kick off the movie because then after that, you kind of see her coming out of her shell, being more comfortable. There is like a slight love story there, but I'm gonna be honest, I dozed off through that. I was just infatuated with the world, with the country, with the people. The love story, I didn't get it. When we- Yeah. And speaking about ignoring the love story, Past Lives. Past Lives for me is a horror movie straight up because it is my worst fear reincarnated FOMO, fear of missing out. I I I never thought of myself as someone that had that fear of losing potential of doing something or being with someone or something like that, but I do. This movie was a horrible movie, and I feel bad for the male lead, like the male Korean lead, because you can tell she is someone that he will never move past from. Even if he gets married, even if he gets a happy life, even if he has a bunch of kids, something in the back of his head is gonna gnaw at him every time he either sees her name, sees her picture, or sees anything that resembles what they had. And I put myself in his shoe, and that's a horrible person's shoes to fill because it is pure heartbreak, and there's no comfort in that. But the movie was surprisingly comforting to show us that this can happen, and it doesn't give you the feeling that the world ends. It's a weird movie because nothing great happens. Like nothing mind-blowingly like, oh, love is great, just find someone you love and blah blah. It's a very realistic movie where this girl goes, she leaves Korea, she studies in America, she has her life there, she reignites something with her best friend, and they kind of have feelings for each other, but she realizes that she can't be playing around. She wants to focus on her career, and she just focuses on her, and she meets a man, and she loves that man, she marries that man, and he's still and he's still thinking about her. He's still there. And then after that, I watched Superman. I love this movie, and I'm so glad they put Superman on the right side of history. If you guys know, you know. It wasn't the most perfect movie in my opinion. It was fun. It was great. I like James Gunn direction. I like his style. I like the colors. The acting was great. It could have been a 10 out of 10 movie, but as a Superman movie, it was missing something important for me, which was his kindness. And even though everyone kept on saying like, "Oh, yeah, you could tell like this movie is shows him his kindness and blah blah blah," but in my opinion, him ignoring his parents were not it. I feel like because what is the issue where like Superman's father just keeps on saying that he loves him and he's proud of him, and then you see that action that he has flow through Superman. And then through the comic, you see Superman do the same thing and say the same thing, how he loves us humans and how he's proud of us humans. And so I think that's my favorite comic, and that embodies Superman. And so this is petty, but seeing Superman ignore his parents until like the last act, did not think that was cool. I didn't explain the Superman movie because I feel like everyone knows what Superman is. Like, Superman is Superman. And then after that, I watched Almost Family. I'm gonna be honest, I did not want to watch this movie. My mom just played it, and I didn't want to leave her alone, so I watched it with her. And it felt cheap. Not cheap production wise, but cheap actually a little bit. But it did feel like they were cutting corners. It was very blatantly obvious that the worst part about this movie was the editing. The editing was ass. I don't know if I'm gonna curse, but yeah, it was bad. It was very, very bad. Acting was okay. I think because they do hard cuts that make no sense in the story, and it feels like one of those Brazilian movies where they're ripping off another movie. Brazilians do that a lot, unfortunately, where they just take something that's good outside and either Western, Asian, or whatever, and they just bring it in Brazil and they make it Brazilian. And then Brazilian people don't know better because Brazil is such a big ass country that we kind of just have our own things, right? And this felt like it stole from someone and didn't do it right, didn't do it justice. Or maybe the original one wasn't right in the first place. But yeah, it felt very cheap, just cheap, really. And then after that, I watched Crash. Crash, holy fuck! When I watch movies, I have a friend that I'll never lose her in my life, mainly because of this. She watches the most bizarre movies and she tells me about the good ones. And I love her for that. I'm gonna be real. And Crash was one of those movies. When she told me the concept, I'm like, not for me. But then when I watched it, I'm like, I was so wrong. You were so right. This is such a great math movie. Crash, as I the cliff notes is Crash is a movie where someone who's in an open relationship suffered a car accident, and he notices that the other person that suffered the car accident is turned on with the whole thing, right? And so he meets that woman later, and then he realizes there's a community of people that have this like weird passion for car crash, car fatalities, and stuff like that. And so their passion kind of influences him, and they kind of grow a kink. So you follow this character that has an open relationship, is open to sexual exploration, and then he wants to explore this thing that this community is sharing. And what's great about this movie, bizarre, besides being this bizarre concept, is the production level is insanely good. Like for a movie full of horny adults, I thought it was gonna be some cheap ass production with good acting. That was not the case. The car accidents are very well made. The stunt coordination is very well coordinated. It's a good movie. And I wasn't expecting that. I think that's why I loved it so much. It's the production of it. And the story is interesting and unique. Granted, very horny. And then I finished off this month watching Manic. Manic is such a great feel-good movie. Manic is essentially the story of this troubled teen going into the health centers that group therapy places. And so he's there with other people, other teens that are distraught and have troubles and everything. And you kind of see they don't really get better, but you see them slowly change their perspective. And not all of them, unfortunately. There are some characters that they are who they are. But it's so interesting seeing these people that are troubled and just either okay, so I think the best thing about this movie is the fact that it shows you a group of different people with their own different problems. So there's a character that's troubled and trying to get out of that trouble. There's a character that's troubled, but he believes that nothing is gonna change. So there's no reason to even try to be better. He's just the way he is, and he feels like there's no point in anything. And then there's the character where you think he's the villain, but realistically he's the victim essentially. And then there's this other characters, other problems, even the adults in this movie, even though this movie is about the troubled teens, even the adults, it shows you a glimpse of their issue and what they go through. It's so small, but it's so significant because it hits you like, oh, no one is perfect here. But that's okay because even though one character has their flaws, they're good at other aspects. Even though that aspect isn't what's gonna save them, it's enough. It's really just enough. And I hope you guys like this. That's what I watched in July. I don't watch that much, but I hope hopefully next month I'm gonna be start watching a lot more.